You're doing fine. I won't let you blow this.
Hello everybody, Elijah here, welcome you all to another Epic 7 video. And today we'll be looking at some of my last few matches before the RTA season ended. I recorded and played for probably 2 hours straight of just RTA, and it was very much a lot of ups and a lot of downs and back and forths and whatnot. These are some of the last couple ones, highlight matches that I thought were interesting and decided to share with you all. But yeah, majority of these games I will be pre-banning Navy Captain Landy and the Lion, and then later on I start banning the Lion and Sea Lilius because I go on a loss streak and it's all due to Sea Lilius, so I kind of just don't deal with that unit anymore. But yeah. They first pick Mediator, which I'm assuming they're playing slow, and then I respond with Conqueror Lilius and Lionheart just to take the counter pick away from them. And if they were to pick Summer Luluka, I have a way to deal with that as well. That's kind of what I went with, how I dealt with the first pick Mediator. I kind of really don't know what I'm going to be doing here. They pick Zio, which makes sense. Most people pick Zio to counter Conqueror Lilius and all that good stuff, whatnot. And last round of Crow was a little unexpected. I was expecting Zio Para would make more sense. Then again, they have Mediator cowering, so I guess they didn't want to commit to aggro. They kind of have to continue to play standard, but with a Zio to deal with the Sea Lilius. And here the best response to do, or what I was going to do, was respond with Desert Jewel Bazaar, but the issue is that Desert Jewel Bazaar doesn't really work too much into a last rider Crown Mediator. He won't sustain enough. They're very bruisery, tanky units, right? So I decided to commit to the aggro play, and I pick Ahmed Blair Witch because at least if they were to ban none of my openers, he can only debuff one. And then my Ahmed also has effect resistance, and if that isn't effective with Zio, she shouldn't get pushed back. So yeah, and my Sea Lilius has a little bit of effect resistance, but it's not intentional. So if that's a no effectiveness Zio, there still is a light chance that my Sea Lilius could resist as well. And then they go with Ron, which I guess they're trying to commit to the first turn. And I think Solitaria, which did not make any sense to me at all. I think it would have made more sense to pick a unit that could follow up after the Ron or follow up after the Zio, right? I picked Desire a little bit, and I am going to leave Ran in just because I think they don't have a follow-up to Ran unless that Solitaria is really fast. And if that Solitaria is a full damage Solitaria, then maybe there's an issue there, but I don't really think that's the case, so I'm not really worried too much. I think I decided to go with getting rid of the mitigation. Right, I give it the first turn, ideally. But again, since he left in both of my openers, he can only push back one. So I still feel pretty safe. Zio goes first, obviously. And they go for...
Those who deny their fate must suffer consequences.
They go for Conqueror Lilius, which I think was a huge mistake. I think they should have taken the chance and went for Ahmed, only because if you look at where my Blair Witch and my Lionheart is, they're pretty far back, right in the CR. I also think Ron kind of greeted here, not soul burning. I was assuming that the reason why they brought Solitaria here is because of a book holder to have. So I think Spectre would have made more sense. But then again, Spectre kind of loses to Blair Witch. I was debating on who to push up here or cleanse, but I just go for the Blair Witch because I think that makes the most sense. In this situation, just to get the unbuffable on everybody, well, they're going to cleanse it anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So it was really just a matter of getting as much damage as possible. And I was not expecting to one-shot the Solitaria. Was not expecting that at all. I was actually very confused. I was like, whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. So I'm assuming that is a DPS Solitaria. That's why they, you know, didn't burn souls on Ron, as well as why they didn't, like, you know, like that was supposed to be the follow-up. Rand defense breaks everybody, and then Solitaria follows up by using her S1 or something, and it just kills everyone. Which, even if that was the plan, I still think they should have just soul burned, right? Because my Lionheart would have definitely not died to like one S1 from Solitaria. Unless she's defense broken. And yeah, that's the first game. Very confused by the Solitaria pick, but hey. In our next game, most of you have already seen a clip from this match if you watch my last video where I showcase Arunka in Guild Wars. But not to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, we're just gonna walk right through this, shall we? I do end up picking Arunka towards the end of this. Now I first picked Lua because I wanted to play more aggressive, aggro, but have a little fun. Now, rule of thumb, if you are picking Lua and you see that they pick Crimson Armin and not any of the other knights that are also way more relevant than Crimson Armin, it is because that Crimson Armin is on Protector set. Like 9 times out of 10, if somebody's picking Crimson Armin into your Lua, it's because they're on Protector set. So I go with Blair Witch and Spectre. And at this point, I think I go for Ahmed, but I wonder if DJB would have also been good. Perhaps, maybe he would have also been good here. But for what I was going for, because I was like, I'm going to commit to the Arunka, Ahmed just made more sense, actually, because I needed the attack up for Arunka. Because, like, Arunka really does not function without an attack up. Like, she just will never do enough damage without the attack up, at least from my experience in testing her out. Like, you just need that. Unless maybe you can get her to 7k attack. If you can get her to, like, 7k attack, you probably can, like, avoid needing to put attack up on her. But I have a faster, speedier build because I want to, like, use her in, like, scenarios like this in a more, like, aggressive situation. So I have her built fast. But as you will see from the results of this video, I might have to build her slower with way higher attack. Because, yeah, she doesn't pull through like the way I wanted her to, essentially, for this entire match. But yeah, to get rid of the Blair Witch, I think they should have got rid of the Spectre, because if they got rid of the Spectre, we lose. Not having souls, right, to soul burn Blair Witch means that she doesn't really do anything into their team. So I would have got rid of the Spectre, in my opinion, but you know, it is what it is.
I'll be the one deciding how this story ends.
Then again, I guess my Arunka could have high enough attack on her own. Like, I don't know. I think the Spectre was probably the biggest issue because of Taga Hells. But then again, I guess they didn't really care because they were all on Protector set and immunity. Like, that was their whole game plan. Now I S2, S3, but I think I should have just S1. I mean S2, S1. That's what I meant. I think I should have just S1 and leave it as is. I probably shouldn't have given the Senna a speed buff. I think that was a little... There's no point of doing that. And then we boost up Arunka, right? And we go for Sinya. I go for Sinya purely because Sinya can provoke block our entire team, but everybody else, like I guess the Crimson Armin can also provoke, but I think I can deal with that a little bit, but it doesn't even matter because Arunka doesn't even kill the Sinya, which was devastating to say the least. That was like a 20k HP Sinya. Yeah, that was like probably most definitely a 20k HP Sinya. Like it just, I don't know. I was very disappointed. I was so upset and I just immediately left the match because I was like, okay, we're done. I think this was the point in which I went on a loss streak, and it was because I couldn't deal with Conquer Lilius, and I just decided to start banning Conquer Lilius. I'm pretty sure this was this point. This was the transitioning moment where I was like, I cannot deal with Conquer Lilius. I really cannot. She is so oppressive, and my Summer Luluka is not built at the moment because I just don't use her as much, or I just don't know how to use her optimally. Every time I use her, I lose, so I just ungeared her for the time being. I don't know. She was getting like debuffed, and I was like, okay, I'm getting debuffed with my 250 ER Summer Luluka. I'm clearly not, I don't know, I'm not playing the game right or something. They go for the Navy Captain Landy, which I kind of have a pretty decent or well-rounded draft to do with this unit that I kind of use a lot of times, but they pick Zio, which I got so scared. So I was like, oh, you're picking Zio, that means you're going to cleave, right? I'm going to like get Jacko cleaved or something, and the Captain Landy is kind of serving as an anchor. But they don't do that. They go for Summer Luluka. This was weird. I don't know why they went for Summer Luluka. That was like a weird pick. I guess they kind of like liked the unit. They just wanted to pick her. I don't know. I would have committed to like a cleave or something because you pick Zio. I'm already playing really slow. I think you could have picked Ron here. Like I would have just like had to like fully give up the game essentially. But I go with Blair Witch, and then I went with Roanna because I think she is okay into the Navy Captain Landy, right? Into their whole team, actually, she's pretty okay. They pick a vicious Tywin and then Dark Corvus. Now, I am kind of like banking on being able to hopefully defense break this Dark Corvus if Blair Witch gets left through. And I think I go with Sleath here. It was either that or Karina. It was gonna be one of those two. But I go with Sleath. And I am, I don't know, I don't think Sleath was that good of a pick here because of who I end up banning. Because I ended up banning the A Tywin. And I don't think Sleath can deal with a Dark Corvus, like at all. So it was kind of troll to pick her, to be completely honest. But then again, A Tywin is probably on a more effectiveness build, and so like she probably would have like not be able to deal with the A Tywin. Not even an effectiveness build. Like he gets debuff and then he gets ignore effect res because he gets the rage buff, right? But they banned Sleath anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I feel pretty safe. The Zio goes first. This is a, I'm assuming, effective Zio, given the fact that he does silence my LRK. I would assume, since I didn't get pushed back, I would assume it was like a 50-50. Like, he didn't have, like, a super high amount of effectiveness, but, like, enough to get, like, the 50-50 chance to debuff. Which is why I, like, resisted one and didn't get, you know, pushed back, but I did get silence. Now the whole game plan with this Blair Witch Lionheart is that I defense break everybody else, right? Obviously I won't defense break the Summer Luluka. The Captain Landy counters, and then my Lionheart cleans up and kills everybody. Well, kills everybody else, I should say, right? We don't defense break the Dark Corvus or strip him, so it means he's built with relatively decent ER. Which kind of sucks. So it's going to end up being, I think I did crit the Navy Captain landing, which was actually pretty insane. But it's going to end up being a Dark Corvus versus the role, or the world, essentially. But the thing is, Dark Corvus is only ever really good at one-shotting, like, Lionheart Sirmia. He's gonna have a hard time getting to LRK and, like, everybody else. Right, like, he cannot one-shot Blair Witch Exterior because he has to deal with the immortality. And my Rowana's on Idol's Shear as well, so, like, Blair Witch kind of, like, turn cycles like crazy.
I can still endure.
And we just focus down the Summer Luca. We want to just make it so that it is literally just Dark Corvus that we have to deal with, and nobody else. I go for the S1 purely because I didn't want to give Dark Corvus more stacks on his passive. Yeah, because I want him to take the turn, and then, you know, we loop back around and then S3 instead. And we do this just to generate a barrier and not to touch the Dark Corvus. Again, we want to, like, reduce. I don't think it mattered, right? We were only we were literally one hit away, even on a non-crit, for him to get his S3 up. So I guess it didn't really matter. We do miss here, which I'm assuming that's why we did, like, no damage, because it was a miss. So there's that. We also do, like, no damage, most likely because of the defense buff. I decided the soul burn. I don't think that was necessary. I think we should have just held on to the souls for LRK as well as for, like, soul burning Blair Witch Exterior. Like, we should have definitely held on the souls there. Because Lionheart's dead regardless. Like, she's fine. Like, she's gone. So, this is the... And, oh, we got a crit there, which was not nice. Definitely not what we want to see. We don't want to see any crits come in. So now he already basically has his S3.
I'll show you how I do things.
Now, again, Dark Corvus does not do nearly as much damage when he doesn't have Soul Burn. I guess he kind of had to because he was low on health, but the issue is he didn't kill. Now, as you're going to see, I do think he does cycle around to another S3. And I was trying to, like, figure out why he didn't, like, S3 the LRK. I think that was probably the most important unit to hit.
You challenge me? Fine.
But yes, he does cycle back around to another S3. He actually almost died there. And then he goes in for... What does he go for? He goes for LRK. Now, as you can see here, he almost kills. Like, he almost gets to the point where my LRK is dead. But, like, the thing is, if he soul burned twice, not soul burned twice, if he went 2 times into LRK, I think they would have won, because they would have killed LRK on the second loop around. But also, I feel as though they were probably scared, because if they hit LRK, he would also get his S3 up. So that may have been where the issue may have lied, but I think that he still would have gotten the kill on LRK. But yeah, I don't know. Alrighty, what are we doing here? Oh, this is a, I remember this. They first picked Savior Aiden, which was very weird. This is a very old school, like, not many people do this anymore, unless they're cleaving. But because we were like, this was probably the match where it was like 30 minutes before the season ended, I was like, let's have fun. And like for me, like some people, when they're like, oh, I want to have fun in RTA, they mean like picking like units that aren't conventional, like locking in things that aren't necessarily the most picked or draft unit. For me, having fun is playing aggressive or like cleave or aggro. Right, like that's what's having fun for me. I know it may be frustrating to play against those types of things, but I enjoy it a lot. Because typically speaking, I don't necessarily have the gear to really speed contest or be fast. So I'm either gonna lose the first round, like the first like, you know, turn or whatever, or win. Right? Like that's like I like taking that 50-50, you know? Even though for most of the times it's like a 75-25, like a 75 chance of me losing and 25 chance of me winning.
I'll show you how I do.
But seeing that I pick Politis and Ball, I do transition into more standard, I suppose. And I decided to go with Solitaria as a last pick and ban the Summer Luca because not Summer Luca, just ML Luca, top model, right? I decided to ban the top model because I'm like that. If there's any unit that's going to outspeed me, my Solitaria, it's going to be the top model. But little behold, to my surprise, that Riolet was or is a speed Riolet, and I was not expecting that at all.
Your life.
And he goes in for a Solitaria, and I was like, oh, this is scary, because I cannot, you know, deal with this, but I'm fine, right? Because I have mitigation. Without the LRK, I would have died instantly, because that was a lot of damage. We go for the S3 on Riolet. I want to get rid of the evasion buff, just in case, right? Since my Blair Witch is on Guiding Light, she doesn't have like the full guaranteed chance to hit. There's like a, I don't know, I think it's like 10% or like 20% chance to miss. But yeah, we essentially just cleave through everybody here with Blair Witch Syria. We almost wipe the board, and then we have LRK to finish it off, and they surrender. And this is going to be our last match. Yes, it is going to be our last match. This is like 10 minutes before the season ended. I first picked Lua because I'm like, we're going to have a ball, right? I'm going all in. We're going to do the thing that people hate to see, which is Lua. And go for it. So what do they go for? They go for AOL, which, you guys, I'm going to be completely honest. I know so many people hate not Luca. Lua. I know so many people hate Lua. So many people, everybody's like, oh my gosh, Lua's so OP, she's so broken, she's so annoying. I get that. However, I think AOL, for me, is so much worse. It might be my playstyle, but I cannot stand AOL. Right? The way that most people feel about Lua is how I feel about AOL. Like, I never want to go up against that unit. Ever. And I should ban her, but I also am so dependent on souls that I have to ban Bellion. And I was just like so tilted from Conqueror Lilius being drafted 24/7 that I also have to ban her. So it's like, I don't know. You pick and you choose, you do what you can, right? I go with Mediator and Spectre because she's a safe DPS into AOL. And then Mediator is also pretty safe into the AOL as well as the Summer Luca. But I guess their game plan, right, for picking Summer Luca AOL is essentially to unbuffable or apply unbuffable to me and then strip it when I cleanse it. So like they have two strips. So essentially my Mediator's dead here, right? His stocks has gone down. But to be honest, I think I can deal with the Summer Luca more than I can deal with the AOL. So I picked Solitaria as a counter to the Summer Luca, as well as a pseudo counter to the Aiden. right? I can hit somebody else and then potentially stun the Aiden elsewhere. And I pick Yulha here because they have a last word of Crow, and I really can't ban it, right? Given how I drafted, I can't get rid of the LRK. I kind of have to just deal with it because I kind of have to ban AOL. Like, I cannot let AOL stay through. I have Solitaria here, I have LiQWYD here who's on Guiding Light, right? I have to get rid of one of the top 2 units. And I'm leaning more towards the AOL pick. Now, who do they go for? They go for Ed, and I'm just like, well, dang. Ed really sucks for my team, but I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I cannot deal with AOL, so I have to deal with the Ed. The thing is, I can kind of, I guess somewhat deal with the Ed. I can reduce the amount of AoEs, and because LRK is there, he's going to grant immunity to his team, right? So, like, I can kind of deal with the Ed, but the AOL is just a no. I sleep the LRK, even though it doesn't really matter. I keep doing that. I keep wasting my sleep so often on my Lua, because that sleep does absolutely nothing. Like, I guess it gives a little ER check to let me know that I can't debuff the LRK, but I should have just soul burned the S3. Like, that's all I needed to do. Like, I didn't need to do anything else. Soul burn the S3 and leave it at that. And I didn't want to wake up the LRK or give him his cooldowns back, so I decided to hit Summer Luluka just cuz. Then again, I could have stunned him, but there is still that RNG chance of missing the stun. I go for the S1, I hit the Aiden, and I was like, wow. I was really shocked. Like, I actually emoted there because I was literally shocked. I was not expecting that. Me killing Aiden actually changed the whole match. Like, completely honest. Now that I don't have to worry about her, like, that really changed the entire match for me. And I realized I didn't even mean to do this, by the way. I realized that they all have to focus in on Yulha because everybody else is stealth. Like, my entire team is stealth, and they have to focus in on Yulha. So if they banned the Mediator or the Yulha instead of the Mediator, I think they would have lost, like, big time. So I would have nothing to deal with the ad, really. Like, yeah, I could have cleansed any debuffs he applied, but it would still be a very big issue.
Shall we bring this to a close?
Now he goes for the S3. It does a lot of damage because, again, LRK, true damage. I guess it wasn't a lot of damage, but it did some. And the ad goes for the Lua and misses. That was weird. I would have went for the Solitaria. I think Solitaria would have been the best thing, because not only do you guaranteed hit her, you could just straight up kill her, right? And one S3. So I think he greeted trying to get rid of Lua, but then again, it's one of those things where so many people are afraid of Lua. Like, so many people are afraid of Lua that they sometimes, like, focus in on her when they really don't need to. I would have went for the Solitaria. Even though I know, like, Solitaria can, like, serve as this way to get barriers and to turn reset LRK, I still think she's very oppressive and you should just, like, get rid of her. Because unlike most debuffers, Solitaria has, like, that weird chance to land 2 debuffs, like unbuffable and then stun, and then the ad only cleanses the unbuffable and not the stun. So he kind of is, like, trapped and he doesn't actually get the cleanse off. They're focusing in on Yulha, beating her up essentially. The crease hit chance is really sucking.
You really want your blood spilled? So be it.
But it's also kind of a good thing for Solitaria because of the Ed, right? Because if she misses on Ed, he doesn't get debuffed.
It looks like
Unless it's a
somebody
stun.
forgot their place.
I go for the S3 here.
Pitiful thing. Suffer any turn
Because
to
I was
your
considering using...
Not bad.
I was like considering using the... what is it? Yulha's S3 on the Ed. But I was like, oh, I'm going to hold off onto it a little bit.
Being popular is so exhausting.
Solitaria goes... what do we do here? I think we continue to focus down the Summer Luluka. I think we should have stunned LRK, maybe? I think that's what we should have did.
What would you like to
Push him back, have him stun, you know, make it harder for him.
I'm going to end you.
We just keep smacking that
I'll be the
Summer
one deciding
Luluka.
how this
There really isn't anything else to smack. I wanted the Beguile damage to go off before I hit the Ed. Which it might actually kill Summer Luluka, right? Ed misses again. Almost kills. Last Rider Crow, they're just focusing down Lua, right? Just trying to get rid of her. I'm sitting here like I don't really know what to hit. I go for LRK. The extra attack damage should kill the Summer Luluka. And Ed gets like the best debuff here. Because if he would have gotten... If I didn't get decrease attacked, I think my S3 at this stage, Frenzy 4, could have just killed him, like straight up. And or got very close to it, to where Yulha could just S3. We actually got super lucky here because he didn't strip away Yulha's speed buff. She has like some effect resistance, not like a ton. I think it's like 80. So he didn't strip away the speed buff, which allows her to cut in front. So I'm pretty sure without that speed buff, he would have cut in front. And then he has Sigurd Scythe, and he probably would have healed to full, which would have been a really big issue for me. Now LRK does have his S3 here, which, yikes. He does end up killing the Spectre as well as the Lua. And this is just a game of can my Solitaria debuff us to victory? Like straight up. Like that's all I really have to bank on. Like we just need to control him, right?
I need some me time. In a world where I'm the main character, I can do whatever I want. Oh, you want me
He's responding to a message. We do get the... So my Yulha could debuff him, which is like a good sign. Like, okay, it's like, we can control him all the way, right? As long as he does a 15% us, like, we're good. Like, that's what I was telling myself here, because we actually got the reverse provoke. So I'm like, okay, 100% chance to reverse provoke. Let's hit him. He resists it, and I'm like, okay. I see how it is. Can I get a stun here? Do we get a stun? No, we do not. He has his S3 up, he can slow burn. I'm like devastated. But that's what ends up happening here. And he kills Yulha, as expected. Now I couldn't S3 because I needed to strip away the immunity, essentially. Because her S3 only decreases buff duration by 1 turn. So, but here it doesn't really matter, right? Like, we're pretty safe. I think even on a non-crit, her S3 just kills him. We're on Frenzy 7, so yeah, that was a pretty long match. But we do end up winning here. It was a very close. Very close match. But yeah, there we go. And that is that. this is where I ended this season. I didn't push for Emperor. I just did not have the time, energy, or will to. But yeah, if you did enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace out.